Hi, I'm Richard Atkinson from Austock Life. I'm going to take you through using our advisor portal and show you how to work out a savings plan for education funding using the portal. It's quite simple. Go to austocklife.com. You can see our homepage here on screen. Select the advisor login tab. It will take you through to a login. I'll get rid of a former colleague's login here and enter your login. If you don't have one, click on the register now, fill in the form, and we'll send you a login as soon as possible. So, put mine in. And fortunately I got my password right. So, as you can see, here's the home page. On the left hand side we've got the home, client holdings. If you happen to have some clients with us, you'll be able to access their holdings through that. The calculators is what we're going to use, and the technical library. In the dashboard you'll see we've got product materials, there's PDSs, child builder brochures, etc. Product brochures, and down here forms and reports, which you will find useful if you're transacting on our bonds, and the calculators. So we're going to do an annuity-like withdrawal stream, but actually with a savings plan. So I'll just click on the calculator, brings up the three you can see here on the left, and we want basically one with a savings plan built into it. We're going to kick this off. Young, high-income family, couple of kids. They're going to want $40,000 a year to pay their school fees once the children go into senior education. And so we're going to start this one here with $2,500. See what happens. And we're going to do it for a 25-year period. You can alter these to your heart's content, but what this will do is when it produces all the calculations at the end, it'll run it to 25 years. You can make it 30 or 40 if you wanted to do so. They're going to save $1,000 a month, $12,000 per annum. So I'll type that in, calculate it, set automatically across here in the monthly savings amount. You can do it in reverse if you want to do that. And we're going to start saving in year 1, and the savings plan is actually going to end in year 20. And what we can do here is put in a savings escalation option, which kind of makes sense with inflation and so forth. So we're going to put 3% per annum. Their savings is going to increase over time. We're not going to make any ad hoc investments, but you can do if you think, well, I'm going to get a bonus in year 5, I'll put some of that into the savings plan. You could add that in there if you wanted to do that, but we're not going to do that in this instance. So then I'll scroll down, you can see the summary on the left, and we go to step 2. Over here in step 2, we're going to put the withdrawal profile in, and the annual withdrawal amount that they're going to need once the children are in senior school is $40,000 per annum, which gives us a monthly of $3,333. And the withdrawal stream is not actually going to start until year 11 of the savings plan, and it's going to end in year 19. Now along the way they're going to want some ad hoc withdrawals, and this is mainly based around year 11 and 12, where extra expenses, I'm told, for those who have children tend to come in, so trips and projects, etc, etc. So they're going to want another $10,000 a year each for those 2 years, so we can add that in. So we'll just call it year 11 extras, and we're going to do that one in bond year 18, and we're going to take another $10,000 out there, and then we're going to add another one for year 12. And that will be in year 19, and again another 10,000. So we put that in, and it shows down here the ad hoc lump withdrawals at $20,000. So on to the next step 3, where we're actually going to put in the portfolio that we're going to choose. Now I'm no financial planner, but I'm going to make up a portfolio here, a bit diversified, and hopefully it will give us a good performance. So what I'm going to do is pretty much stick with as much as possible index options, because we have a fair range of those on here. And I'm going to kick off with Australian shares, so I'm going to put 30% into Australian shares. Please don't send any emails criticising my fund selection, etc. So 30% so far into Australian shares, and as you can see at the top of the screen, it starts to create a ring graph showing you what you've got. And the idea, of course, is to allocate 100% of the funds. So 30% into Australian shares. I'm going to go 10% into a multi-sector fund, and I'll choose the Vanguard Growth Fund. And I'm going to go, let me see, 15% into fixed interest. And again, I'll use the Vanguard 15% fixed interest. There we go. And 20% into international. Now, in our international shares, from Vanguard's point of view, we have a hedged and unhedged option. So I'll split it between the two. One of the things you can do with the bond, of course, is switch funds around. So you might actually say, well, current market hedged makes the best option, so I'll go with that. And then as the markets change, you can switch it all around into unhedged, depending on what you think is best for the client, of course. And we want some property as well, so I'll put the Vanguard Index Property Fund, and we'll put 25% in that. Now that should fully allocate all of our assets, and it does, and you can see it in the ring graph here and so forth. Now, moving down, what that's done is basically given me some figures to work with. So here I've got the historical performance of that portfolio over 10 years, after fees and tax, 7.98%. If I'm not happy with that, but I want to estimate a balanced portfolio or an aggressive portfolio or something for your client, you can actually elect not to use our portfolios. You can put your own figures in if you wish to do that. So that also works out the total fees and the average tax rate that that portfolio has generated over internal tax rate, that is, over that period, that 10-year period as well. Our clients are both professionals, so they're both earning top dollars, so they're both on top marginal tax rates, so we've put in their marginal tax rate as there. It's only really relevant if they were withdrawing in the first 10 years, so in calculating the offset and so forth like that. In this particular instance, we're not going to be doing that. Here in the summary page, we can see the withdrawal profile and the investment overview and the projected earnings of $274,666. And if we now click on the View Detailed Information button at the bottom, we can get an idea of what this all looks like in terms of actual figures and graphically as well. Here we've got a chart, plots the withdrawals and the savings, etc., over the period. And then down in the table below, it gives us all the figures. So as you can see, year one, we kicked off with an opening balance of $2,500. Fund earnings, regular savings, it goes on and so forth. Across the board, add-ons, regular withdrawals, etc. And then a tax assessable portion. Had we withdrawn within 10 years, it will calculate the 30% offset, the net investor tax at their marginal tax rate, which is why we put the marginal tax rate in, and whether or not they've broken the 125% rule, which they haven't done in this case. And so further down in year 11, you can see we've started the withdrawal stream, $40,000 per annum coming out. It's all post 10 years, so there's nothing to pay in tax as far as these investors are concerned, hence no offset, etc. That continues down to year 18, where you can see we made the additional ad hoc withdrawals in year 18 and 19, $10,000. It calculates all that out for you. And we move on to the end of the savings plan, which was in year 20. Don't forget we were putting $12,000 away in year one, escalating it by 3%. By the time they get to year 20, they're putting in $21,042. And then that stops in year 21, and as have done the withdrawals as well. So they've got a lump sum sitting there to do with as they wish. It can either be for a child's gap year, give them a start in life, first home deposit, etc., etc., or they can just go on a holiday to the Bahamas. Well, that's basically how to use the calculator, and please get on board through austocktlife.com, get yourself an advisor login. It's there for you to use. If you need help, contact our distribution team, your BDM, or any of us via Austock Life. We'd be very happy to help you. Thanks for watching.